watching us and check it out now. Holy. Now, people, y'all know what happens when that Puerto Rican nigga named Rico come around, okay? People are gonna get some years in jail, okay? Now, if you guys don't know, the entire YSL was taken down by a RICO charge. That's a racketeering charge, which charged 28 people affiliated and associated with YSL. Now, I'm gonna tell you what it means. But today we saw heavy police presence at one of Young Thug's properties. They did a whole raid. They took a whole bunch of stuff, and they took Young Thug into custody. Now they're looking for other people, okay? They're looking for Gunna, okay? And by the way, other people who you might be familiar with when it comes to YSL, they're also charged as well, okay? Including Yak Gotti, Lil Duke, and a few other people, including the guy. Remember the guy who shot at Lil Wayne's tour bus and he got out not too long ago? Well, he's going back to jail again. Know why he's going back to jail? He's going back to jail just because he is participating in this gang. Now, let me tell you how the feds set this up. And this is why RICO charges are so effective for them, because they don't got to really prove, really, if you a boss, all these rappers talk like they bosses, they're not going to be pulling the trigger themselves. These guys aren't going to be really doing dirt themselves. They're going to pay somebody else to do it, right? However, with a RICO charge, you're going to jail still, okay? Basically, if you gave instructions, if you helped pay for some stuff, you are guilty, especially if you're in what they call a street gang. So this is what prosecutors say. They say YSL is a street gang. Now, I'm going to tell you about Gunna's case, Gunna's charge before I even get to some of Thug's, because Gunna, the only thing I see him charged with is repping YSL. Now, that's going to be an interesting case. His lawyer's going to have a field day in trying to get this case dismissed for Gunna, at least, just because he's going to say, well, y'all don't know any crimes I did. The only thing y'all charged me for is for being in this gang, but I'm signed to a record label named YSL Records. I'm not in no gang. I'm really just an artist. Now, the prosecutors they even mentioned his music video, Fox 5. They mentioned a few other things where they're saying he's throwing up hand signals. He's saying certain words consistent with the gang. They have a bunch of stuff that they're saying he's doing that's consistent with being in this gang. However, I think he has a decent case. Anyway, Young Thug. They want Young Thug, and by the way, Young Thug is probably be looking at a lot of time. You know why? Because you ever watch one of the movies and they got the little chart on the wall and they're like, yo, this is the criminal organization. Well, Young Thug is at the top of it. They say Young Thug is one of the 3 founders of YSL. And him being one of the 3 founders of YSL means he's at the top of the list. It's like, yo, when they took down the Mexican cartel, yeah, they want El Chapo. They're not going to give the dude who was shooting people for El Chapo 3 life sentences and then give El Chapo 15 months. No, it don't work like that. We want the kingpin. And they're saying that Young Thug's one of the kingpins. Now, in addition to that, they found weapons and all that other stuff, so they got some gun charges, this and third. But this is what they're saying. There's 2 things that really I think this last thing here is the reason they acted upon this now. They said that Young Thug was trying to get YFN Lucci killed in jail. Okay, so YFN Lucci also has a RICO charge for a lot of serious stuff. He's sitting in Fulton County Jail. They're saying that Young Thug was making calls and was orchestrating for people in jail to kill YFN Lucci. Now, I think that could be related to some other stuff that's been happening in the streets, and this is why the timing is very important. This is a RICO charge that they ain't waiting for the feds to come do it. They did it themselves in terms of local municipalities and local, counties within Georgia. They filed this RICO charge against YSL. So basically, they want these guys off the street. From what I've been hearing, there's retaliatory stuff happening left and right, and I think they saw this escalating and go into the summer, so they said, yo, let's wrap it up. Now, in this indictment, which I'm going to get into another video, they got incidents from 2013. Yeah, all the way back to 2013, they have incidents that pretty much just show that they've been watching Young Thug and them for a long time, okay? So the most recent was this whole thing. They believe that they were trying to get YFN Lucci killed, which, by the way, there was a story of YFN Lucci getting attacked recently. But in 2015, they're saying that Young Thug paid for and rented a vehicle that he gave to his homies to go kill a guy. So they did a shooting, and you can look it up. The guy who got shot was at a barbershop, and then they shot 2 other people, including a 14-year-old boy in the leg. So they've been watching him for a while. They've been getting dirt on him for a while, right? And they have everything. They said it was from Hertz. It was an Infinity QX50 or whatever the case is. So they got a lot of stuff on him. And this is where it's going to get very serious for Thug. Okay? They're probably going to look at him and said, bro, we have all the evidence against you in the world. We've been waiting for this for years. What are you going to do? Are you going to take a plea, or you're going to just like try to go beat this case? Now, again, if they do try to take this to a trial, I think it's going to be a lot of years that's going to be on the table. Okay? I think it's just going to be a lot of years. I just personally believe that Atlanta's trying to clean up, and I don't think this is going to be the first indictment. I think there's a couple more to come, where they realize a bunch of rappers are either moving to Atlanta or in Atlanta, and they're moving like they're the mob. They got their own little street crews, and their crews is not only just making music or whatever the case is, these dudes are starting to get active. And I think this is what happens. And, very unfortunate because, Thug was about to drop some new music. Shoot, Gunna's supposed to be dropping the song tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen. Thug was supposed to headline one of these State Farm Arena like next month. I don't know if that's going to happen at all. But Gunna in custody, 28 people charged. This is a very, very serious case. I could imagine that Gunna's lawyer is going to put up a lot of, protests to try to get his case dropped. But, man, Thug is in it. And this is where, we're all going to have this survivor's remorse, or we're going to have 2020 hindsight and be like, yo, why do these guys do all this stuff? They're rich already. Let's just be very clear, okay? If we listen to this indictment described the gang that they had pretty much almost before they even got famous, okay? They said this stuff was born on Cleveland Ave. If you ever heard Young Thug in his early days rap about Cleveland, okay, that's what he's talking about, okay? So pretty much this kind of grew into an organization. It probably just started out as a bunch of hoodlum friends just kicking it and probably doing hood rat-ish. However, started getting bigger and bigger. There's a lot more people that's involved, a lot more money involved, and now some of these ramifications, and for the cops, it's harder to prove. So you know what they do? Screw all of that. We don't want to have to prove all of that. We just want to be able to prove that y'all committing crimes, and y'all committing crimes for the furtherance of this gang, which is YSL, and y'all are in YSL. Screw it. Let's do that and get y'all the hell out of here. We'll see what happens. He's going to go to get arraigned shortly. I think tomorrow. I don't think he'll get bail, but he might. He might. His lawyer seems pretty confident he might get bail. Regardless, I think it's rather sad that this is happening now, but hey, it is what it is. They say you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Also, if you live in the streets and do street stuff, you can't be that shocked when somebody comes with a warrant or tries to charge you guys with some stuff. So we'll see what happens. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Get in the comment box. Would you guys like and subscribe? I'll break down the indictment a little bit more and some of the details it says about other people, because there's a lot to digest. But, we'll do that at a later point. You guys get in the comment box, though. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm out.